In August of 2024, at the Walt Disney Company's D23 Ultimate Fan event, Disney revealed its upcoming plans for its theme park division. Among the reveals, it was officially announced that an immersive land, themed to Pixar's Monsters Incorporated, would be coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World. Little did anyone know at the time that the selected plot for this themed land was the famous Muppets Courtyard, and in January of 2025, it was revealed that the legendary attraction, MuppetVision3D, the last project that Jim Henson himself ever worked on, would be closing June 7th of that same year. Unfortunately, even after much outcry, that plan is now being set into motion. Let's talk about the beginning of the phased closures of both Muppets Courtyard and the soon-to-be-closed MuppetVision3D here on That Park Place.
It looks like Disney is still following through here. The phased closure of Muppets Courtyard begins next week at Disney's Hollywood Studios. They're getting rid of another fountain here. Vash, what do you think the odds are that they actually replace this with a fountain in the Monsters Inc. land?
Odds are very little. I think we actually saw, I thought somebody pointed it out that there was like it's one of those objects in which you have a high pressurized system of water underneath it, right? And there's this big ball on top, and you get to roll it, and it sits on top of that pressure right there. There's a little film. It's unlikely that we'll get a fountain this spectacular as you're seeing on screen right here. Footage provided by Marvin, by the way. Thank you so much for that. I think it's really sad that you have to have the Muppets going away at all. Obviously, they want to redress this whole area in order to make it more in line with Monsters. Sure, okay, fine. I guess, whatever. Not great, but whatever. To take the MuppetVision3D experience attraction away, this living embodiment of Jim Henson's legacy at one of these theme parks, to remove it entirely, I think is the worst thing ever. Sure, okay, maybe you can redress the exterior, put it in Monsters, whatever, but you don't have to get rid of Muppets for Monsters. That's really the saddest thing about this whole enterprise.
Oh yeah, and for those of you who have not seen the concept art, here it is, right here. If you look at this, here is the roller coaster there in the back. Here is the restaurant that they're putting in, probably some shopping. And then there is Monsters Show TBD that's going in over here at the Muppet Vision Theater. There is no reason whatsoever that they have to get rid of Muppet Vision, although I have a feeling we know why. It's probably some misguided attempt at cost savings. It's really not anything that... There's also the fact that we know that they could have given up their own offices over there near the animation courtyard, and they chose not to do that, causing us to use the now infamous clip.
Where? Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
But of course, now we get into the article. Disney's Hollywood Studios is getting ready for another massive change at the park as the park continues to reinvent itself like a modern-day Madonna. After a delay in the arrival of construction walls, the first closure in the Muppets Courtyard section of the park will begin next week. This is part of a two-phase closure of the area as Disney prepares to create a reimagined, I'm going to put that in quotes myself, corner of Hollywood Studios themed to the Monsters, Inc. franchise. Here's the latest on the upcoming closure. Previously announced, the final day to dine at Melrose Ristorante Italiano will be on May 10th, with the location permanently closed beginning May 11th. This marks the first phase of the closure of the park. The other offerings in Muppets Courtyard will remain open through June 7th, including the MuppetVision3D theater show. Construction walls are expected to arrive on June 8th as the entire Muppets Courtyard area is permanently closed to guests. To reference this again, if you're going down into this area at the bottom corner here, you can walk past this area without seeing in. This building right here on the left is Star Tours, and this walkway area, it's very easy to miss this area as you go straight on through into Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge also has a kind of a nondescript opening as well, when then you get into a land that is also somewhat nondescript if you're used to that Disney theming experience. I don't know. I think the construction walls here are probably going to be not noticeable. There's already an exit wall there anyways. There's often meet and greets. Seem to remember meet and greet with Goofy that was out right there in that area. So I don't think, other than knowing that the last thing that Jim Henson ever worked on for the Muppets is being destroyed behind the wall, I think that people will probably, as far as theme park flow goes, not notice the blocked off area here. But the tragedy of Disney is, of course, they're getting rid of something that is great to replace it with something that maybe will work. I don't know. Vash?
Maybe will work. Yeah, I mean, they have a very interesting connection system for the actual coaster itself, the Monsters Inc. coaster that is, to the rest of the track from the load-unload area. There's like a vertical lift that actually ascends and takes you up and actually rotates your vehicle. And you go forward there. That's going to be interesting to see if that all works out the way that Disney intends for that to work out. I want to go ahead and put this concept art a little bit closer on my screen right here. You can actually see that kind of concrete spherical ball that I was talking about before. May have gotten the name slightly wrong there. You can see that they've Imagineering, that is, has implemented this in several instances, this being the early instance that I've ever heard of this being installed. This was for the 1998 version of the New Tomorrowland at Disneyland, and then most recently at Pixar Pier over there at Disneyland Resort, Disney California Adventure, that is. So they seem to be very fond of installing those water features there. People are thinking that that's what that spherical structure will be when it's finally done. But that's the thing, though. You can't really look at the concept artwork with a very exacting eye, because we know that these things often change, at least from Disney. And so to see this phased closure of Muppets happening, in fact, right before Epic Universe opens, which is really a shame. If they would have leaned into nostalgia, I think they would have been better off, at least for the summer right here, than trying to get a leg up on their new experiences coming in 3 to 4 years' time. Also, too, we did see that work is occurring in other places on Walt Disney World Resort property, and it's so sad to see Disney go through this and not actually preserve some of these are very unique and original experiences that people grew up with, but actually get rid of them. Somebody actually said something that was very profoundly interesting. It was, okay, if Disney is going to continue to deliver subpar experiences, those that are new, let's say, so like Tiana's Bite Adventure, for example, or Communicore Hall or whatever, if they're going to continue to go down that path of providing subpar attractions and so forth, then maybe Disneyland is not supposed to be a museum. Maybe it should be a museum, because that's really the legacy, the nostalgia, the things that people grew up with. If you can't compete in the realm of new, maybe all you have is legacy, nostalgia, and those things that people grew up with, wanted to experience.
I think it would be cheaper to do that, for sure.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.